Welcome back to the Travel Chronicles, Chapter 6, I think, where I'm at. So this is the last travel day of the week. Be working from home again tomorrow. Pretty awesome. It's not really. Right now, the internet is extremely loaded down, and I don't know if it's just the company server getting loaded down when you try to get on the VPN, but it's rough. It's rough to do anything over the internet between like 9 and 2 or 3 o'clock. Right in the middle of the day, right when all the work stuff's going on. So maybe some ways around that. I'll think about that tomorrow. But this COVID-19 continues on. I think it's like day 12 of the shutdown or so. 13, day 13 maybe. Not for me. For schools, for businesses. The government just passed a $2.2 trillion stimulus package. The president still has to sign it. That'll be interesting. Just to see what effect it has. I think in a time like this, you're gonna see what really matters to people. A lot of the entertainment stuff, sporting events, movies, those kind of things get put on the back burner, and they got put on the back burner quick. And they're still trying to figure out, the essential stuff versus the non-essential stuff. And pretty much right now, unless it has to do with gambling, movie theaters, drove by the mall last night. The parking lot was completely empty. It was kind of eerie. Except for like around the restaurants and stuff. Like those places are still open. But the mall itself was closed. So, a lot of these, I don't want to say lower end business, but businesses that, you really figure what you can do without, like right now. And I think it'll be interesting when we come out of this, to see what sticks, what stays, what doesn't come back, and how things change. Because places are going to get a lot more streamlined. You're going to get down to like the bare minimum people that you can, people that are off work. It's going to be an opportunity for them maybe to try to get something else. And now really is going to be, I hate to say it, if you're hiring or you're looking to hire, now is going to be the time to get the best people, because the pool is going to be full of people. But the same thing with the economy, you don't know what it's doing, so it's not really the time to hire. Whoever's going to kind of stick their neck out first and say, hey, we're going to make it, we're going to be all right, and start hiring people, we're going to be the ones that get the best people, I think. And then you got the other side. This virus itself is pretty debilitating so far. And I don't know if the numbers are really reflecting exactly what this is. I know a lot of comments early were, it's the flu, it's the cold, it's a flu. And now it's kind of, it's sort of like that, but really it's more closely related to SARS. And that was an outbreak that happened in 2009, 2008, somewhere around in there. It was just in China, in that area. I think there was 8,000 cases recorded, 800 people died. That's a 10% mortality rate on something that was fairly low-key contained. it spread like flu, spread like a cold, but the respiratory issues are so bad, and that's what you're seeing now in a lot of these serious cases, is that the lungs themselves, part of fighting off the virus, the antibodies or whatever, come in there and they destroy everything. They destroy everything in the lungs. So if the mortality rate ends up being 10%, and that's of people, anybody that's contracted, anybody that's tested positive for it, there may be other people out there that haven't been tested for it. Maybe the total rate, like if you increase the testing, the total rate might be in the 3 to 4% range. That's still hundreds of thousands of people. Once it goes through, there's a possibility, and I think I heard just talking about it a little bit ago, but this is round one, and then based on the seasons in the southern hemisphere, they're getting ready to go into their winter now. They'll really start facing it now, because this is where their flu and cold season starts to pick up. So if they're going to get it now, then there's a possibility in 6 months that we're gonna start round two, and it's just going to keep going back and forth, because if you look at it now, a lot of the countries in the southern hemisphere, they're not dealing with it. It's all in the northern hemisphere right now. So yeah, by summertime it could clear up. There's a possibility come fall or October, November, it's coming back. Unless we can get a vaccine or people having to get the antibodies built up, but it is a rather serious respiratory illness now. I think people are trying to downplay it maybe at first. It could be serious if you get it. Possibility, I think high probability, 70-80% that you come out of it in the first week, no big deal. But then that 20 to 30%, it could require hospitalization, some pretty serious work. You could come out of that, and then somewhere in that 3 to 10% range is you may not come back out of the hospital. That's the seriousness of it. So best case is avoid, don't get it, stay away, keep your distance. It becomes hard, and, especially if you're trying to keep the economic machine going. How are you going to keep it running for so long? Yeah, you can give people some money, but people have gotten to a certain lifestyle based on the income that they have, and to have that ripped away from them and say, hey, deal with it, that's not a good scenario. And then you're going to have companies slow to hire coming back out of this because they don't know if they're going to make it. So right now it's a very tenuous situation, and we could get down to, we're saying what's essential and what's non-essential right now, based on the government, but people don't have money to buy stuff. That's when you find out what's essential. What's essential is going to be eating and staying indoors to start with. You have to find a way. It's going to be rough. All right, we'll see what's up on the schedule for next week. Maybe the last time for a while. Take care. Have a good weekend.